Senator Sanders, let me give you the chance to respond first. President Trump certainly thinks this label socialism will work. At the State of the Union, he said socialism destroys nations. He's never going to let socialism destroy American health care. And before the Super Bowl, he joked with Sean Hannity about your honeymoon in Moscow. Those hits are going to keep coming if you're the nominee. Why shouldn't Democrats be worried?
Because Donald Trump lies all the time.
All right, debate moderators often become a part of this story themselves. So how did they do? How'd this whole thing go tonight? Let's bring in our media analyst and host of MediaBuzz right here on Fox News, Howard Kurtz, for more. All right, great to see you, Howie. What do you make of what we heard tonight? We knew there would be this conversation about socialism. You heard Peter Doocy interviewing Senator Klobuchar. She's the one that kind of seemed most willing to draw a line there. But it got a lot of chatter tonight.
This was the most aggressive Democratic debate yet, and for two reasons. One is that some of these candidates are fighting for their political lives, but also George Stephanopoulos and later his ABC colleagues didn't ask airy questions about climate change and how much do you hate Donald Trump, but pitted the candidates against each other based on their own words and records. Take a look.
But why are Senator Sanders and Mayor Buttigieg too big a risk for Democrats? Let me just ask, is anyone else on the stage concerned about having a Democratic socialist at the top of the Democratic ticket?
I'm not. The politics that says if you don't go all the way to the edge, it doesn't count. A politics that says it's my way or the highway.
Are you talking about Senator Sanders?
Yes.
So that set the tone, Shannon.
So it was very combative at times. And of course, when you come into this as a front runner, and then we have two people claiming, victory over Iowa, there are going to be multiple people who are taking shots tonight. But there were some interesting defenders of each other on the stage tonight, too.
Yeah, I'll give you my instant report card in a minute, but since you teed me up there, Pete Buttigieg, as usual, he was calm and collected. He certainly took some nicks and cuts, given his status as the kind of co-winner in Iowa and running #2 in New Hampshire. I thought he had some strong moments taking on as an Afghan war veteran, President Trump, on military issues, but his strongest moment, in my mind, was when he talked about what was at the focus of the impeachment trial. Check it out.
This is not about Hunter Biden or Vice President Biden or any Biden. This is about an abuse of power by the president. And to be the kind of president, to be the kind of human being who would seek to turn someone against his own son, who would seek to weaponize a son against his own father, is an unbelievably dishonorable thing.
So Pete Buttigieg mounted a much stronger defense of the whole controversy swirling around Hunter Biden. What he did obviously still looks bad, more than Joe Biden has been able to do. And in the process, he looked magnanimous toward a rival. So I thought that was a double hit.
Okay, and I do want to get to your scorecard, but I first want to ask you, because we started to see this bubbling during the debate, and each time that they would recap who gets how much time, people were very upset that the former vice president, was getting so much airtime when they think his positioning doesn't really equate to that, and that he was in the middle of the stage where the front runner is supposed to be.
Right. Well, I guess he's still the biggest name on the stage as a guy who's been in politics for 150 years. Beyond that, Joe Biden, even though the pundits all say he's faltering and embarrassing fourth place finish in Iowa, took a lot of incoming. Therefore, he was given a lot of chances to respond. I thought he kind of limped out of the gate, announcing he would lose New Hampshire. But then he had stronger moments. He challenged Sanders on the cost of Medicare for all. He challenged Buttigieg on his lack of a military experience. He challenged President Trump on Iran. But he's so intent on talking about past initiatives that he often seemed to be looking backward. Sanders, I thought, had perhaps his strongest debate. He has more humor now. He did his greatest hits with the corporations and healthcare industry, and one billionaire in particular, Mike Bloomberg. Also, Amy Klobuchar, as others noted, was solid and funny, the only Home Alone 2 reference. Elizabeth Warren, I thought, didn't really criticize anybody else very hard on that stage. She faded for long stretches. She was fine, as she always is, but I don't think she really broke through.
All right, back to you, Howie, for your final thoughts on how this night went down.
Pete Buttigieg is very good with the media, has done so many interviews, as you just saw. He is the hot candidate right now, at least as the media see it, because he's an obscure small-town mayor who virtually came out of nowhere to at least tie in Iowa. I was surprised he didn't take more incoming tonight. That will change if he does well for the second straight time in New Hampshire.
Absolutely right. And as I was saying before we broke for the spin room, you and I have covered a lot of these things, and there are so many ebbs and flows. There are so many people who peak at different times and are written off and come storming back. I mean, it's really still so early on for people to be saying RIP to the Biden candidacy, especially going into states that are going to be much better for him.
No premature obituaries. This thing has a way to run, but you can also peak too early, which may have happened with Elizabeth Warren.
That's true. All right, Howard Kurtz, we always appreciate your insights. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Thanks.